Good afternoon. It's 3:30. I'm Rochelle Barham and these are your Solent Sports News headlines. Southampton travel to Brighton tonight in the Premier League. If Saints win, it will be their second win in the league this season. However, if they lose, it will be the first time they have lost 10 consecutive top-flight away games since 1974. Southampton are winless in their last 5 meetings with Brighton, drawing 2 and losing 3. Callum Gill went around the city of Southampton to ask people about what they think will happen in the fixture tonight and if Russell Martin needs to change anything with the team.
We are here outside St Mary's as Southampton prepare for their trip to the Amex tonight against Brighton. We will be interviewing Martin Saunders from the Saints podcast. Join us live at 3:30 on Solent Sports News.
Saints currently sit bottom of the table with just 4 points and will be looking to kickstart their season by picking up a second win this evening. We caught up with Saints fans to see if there was still hope of the club keeping their Premier League status.
I think they'll probably lose.
It's going to be a tough one. Obviously lost, only won 1 all season so far.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton are a decent side.
Well, I heard an ex-Premiership footballer describe Southampton's manager's football style as being trying to play computer game football.
In certain cases, just play the long ball. We've been caught out so many times.
I think it's similar to the Vincent Kompany situation last season with Burnley. I think it might need a slight tweak.
There's some times where you just need to clear the ball, but the thing with Martin is he got us up.
But I reckon you could stick with him. I reckon he might be able to claw you out.
And there's no one else out there really to replace him.
I reckon it'll be close. I think they might just, I'm giving them hope. I reckon they might just do it.
Cameron Moody is now live with Martin Saunders.
Hello, we are here live. Thank you for joining us at the Southampton Ferry Terminal. I'm here with football fan content creator, Football Martin, who's made the trip from the Isle of Wight for the match at the Amex tonight. Martin, thanks for joining us. How do you think Saints are going to get on tonight? It's going to be a tough game against Brighton. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's certainly a really, really tough game. I don't think it's an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. They had the opportunity to go second in the Premier League tonight. Massive incentive for them. They're on really, really good form. They've been outstanding this season. And Saints are really struggling, aren't they? Just 4 points on the board and just a 1 win. And it's been really, really tough.
There's been a lot of talk at the moment about Russell Martin's style of play and whether he needs to adapt slightly more to improve results. Do you think he does need to adapt his style a little bit more, or should he stick to his principles of play that have been working?
I think the proof's in the pudding, in the results. They're gifting teams too many chances. I think the Opta statistic last weekend was that they've gifted more opportunities, individual errors than any other team in the Premier League that have resulted in goals. The consistency to continue to play out from the back using the goalkeeper is not working. We're leaking goals left, right and centre, and it will relegate us very, very quickly. He does need to adapt. I went on a few shows at the start of the season and said that I thought he would. He hasn't, and I don't think he will. I think he's very much about how he wants to go about playing football. He's very stubborn, and unfortunately that style of play with the group of players he's got will inevitably see this team relegated sooner rather than later, and it's just how ugly it gets now.
So, and yeah, like you just touched on there, given the poor form so far this season, what is your gut instinct? Do you think Saints are going to hold out and stay in the division, or do you think they're going to go down this year? I've
got to be really honest, because you can say it's quite tight between us and I think it's Crystal Palace. I think 18th got 4 points between us. But realistically, no team's ever done it after losing 10 of their opening 12 Premier League fixtures. Saints have done that. I don't see there's any way out of it. I don't see where they're going to score enough goals. They're averaging to leak at least 2.5 goals per game at the moment, and with the lowest scorers in the division. So it's a recipe for relegation, unfortunately. I hope we can do it, but something drastically amazing needs to change. But I just don't see it at this moment. I'm being very realistic. Maybe I'm being a bit negative, but I don't see how we stay up at this moment in time.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you for your thoughts,
You're
Martin.
welcome.
We'll see how Saints get on tonight live at the Amex. Thank you guys. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Cam. Did you know in the UK, archery is one of the main sports that receives the least amount of funding? To take part in the oldest sport in the world, it costs an average of £600 for all the equipment, with memberships reaching around £120. Elle Reid has more.
is more than just a sport. Yet funding and access to the sport are the biggest obstacles. One of the best ways to generate income and growth is through beginner courses.
The bigger you are, the better you are. There's been so many clubs that have been underfunded because you have a fixed cost for a field, a fixed cost for any lodge clubhouse that you have. So the more members you have, the better it is because the higher income.
Archery GB doesn't currently provide sponsorships for grassroots clubs. Their focus is on preparing for the Olympics.
Archery GB don't give you any money. They will gladly support you. For example, I've got an athlete, they're called, who is in phase 2 out of 3, trying to get onto the GB squad, and she should be into the GB squad around June next year. So we trot up to Lilleshall once a month and doing all the training, etc. They've offered to send an archery GB coach down to us to help with any coaching that we may want for the county team. So they're very supportive.
Archery's popularity is on the rise thanks to media coverage. Introducing the sport to schools and local communities could get more involved.
What we've got to do more of is build on from grassroots. We've got to be into far more schools than we are at the moment. Every single school should be offering archery to their students, everyone without fail.
Archery has the potential to thrive, but work still needs to be done to make it come true.
I am now joined live in the studio with Abigail Beatty. Hello.
Yes, hello.
So I know that that's a bow, but I don't know the names of it and all the technicalities of it. Would you like to explain for everyone?
Yeah, so first you'll start off like with your simple riser. You can get all different types of colours, or you can even get wooden ones. Then you've got your limbs, your string. You also have your sight that goes on here. The rest where your arrow sits, and then you've got the stabilisers to help you when you're shooting.
So how long have you done archery for? Have you done it for a long while, or is it sort of a hobby you've picked up in the last few years?
So I started when I was 11. I joined a club called Hertford Company of Archers, and I started on their beginners course, and it kind of just grew from there, and then went to represent Hertfordshire County at a couple competitions.
So as it was previously mentioned, archery is not very well funded in the UK. Do you think it's on the rise, or do you still think there isn't much funding around it? What do you think needs to be done?
At the moment, there's not a lot of rise. I mean, obviously, everything archery-wise, equipment memberships, you have to pay yourself. You don't get any help with that. Archery GB do help. If you're starting to move up the ladder to the Olympics, then they will offer one of their coaches to you, but funding-wise, they don't offer anything. Archery also kind of needs to get more media it needs to be more on the media side, really. Obviously, with the Olympics, it has grown, but whereas we haven't always done great, that hasn't helped either. So mainly, I think the media and kind of TV coverage needs to improve.
Would you like to demonstrate?
Sure.
Give it a go.
So your hand just goes from there, 3 or 4 fingers, and then pull it back to your chin. Would you like to have a go?
I mean, if you're trusting me with that, I mean, there's no bow, no bow.
Don't have to pull it all the way
no
back.
Arrow, but
no arrows, don't worry. You're not going to accidentally harm anyone. So you just put your hand on there.
And then how many?
And then put 3 or 4 in there, and then pull back, and then slowly bring it back.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for people who do that. That's very difficult.
Yeah,
I've only
you have
had
to be
one go.
strong for this.
But anyway, thank you very much, Abby. 5 lionesses have been nominated for the 2024 FIFA Women Awards. Lucy Bronze, Lauren Hemp and Kira Walsh are nominated for FIFA Women's Best Player. Mary Earps has been nominated for Women's Goalkeeper of the Year after already winning 2 years in a row. And Beth Mead has been nominated for the Martyr Award, giving praise to the Best Girl of the Year. It was her first goal against West Ham in November which got her the nomination. In Formula 1, first practice of today has just finished with Ferrari leading the grid, with Charles Leclerc followed by the McLarens of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. It's definitely lining up to be an exciting weekend of racing action. Volleyball has traditionally been seen as a niche sport, only jumping into people's minds every 4 years when the Olympics roll around. But this is no longer the case. The numbers of players are soaring at all levels and for all ages. Reporter Toby Chapman investigates what has led to this surge.
Volleyball! It's a sport on the rise. Volleyball is gaining momentum across the UK. Previously seen as a niche activity, it's now spiking its way into the mainstream. Last year saw the numbers rise by 13% across the National Volleyball League. Sides like Southampton Volleyball Club are benefiting from this growth. This delighted coach Luca Manelli.
It's been very exciting because we have a lot of talent in the room, a lot of new players. We travel all across the southwest up to the Midlands, so I think we go from Exeter to Bristol to all the way to Nuneaton or Derby. As a club we felt the impact of COVID obviously, but since things were back to normal, the interest in volleyball has skyrocketed in this region at least. Hampshire is a very international region, so we have people coming from all over the world to play the sport. And as a club we've been growing exponentially. I think we have about 150 players in the club across 8 teams. And this summer for the National League trials we had I think something like 80, 90 people coming to trials because they wanted to be involved in National League volleyball, and it's great to see.
University sides take part in the Bucks League and the Student Cup, which saw a record high of 90 teams participate this year. One of those sides is Solent University.
It's been great. It's my first time playing Bucks League for volleyball, and I think it's going very well. We're currently top of the league, so yeah, I think it's going quite well.
So we've been playing games regularly with other universities, and training's really good. We're doing a proper programme within amongst us.
This year has been really good. We've got a strong team and we haven't lost a game yet, and hopefully carrying on, winning the cup, winning the league.
It's really good because everyone has different opinions about different things and you also get new ideas, new drills that I haven't done before with other teams. So it's been good to develop.
Everyone wants to join as well. It's a super nice, good sport for community-wise. So I think everyone should enjoy it, and I think Solent can achieve great things with it.
With numbers at their highest, whether it's on sandy beaches, local sports halls or under the bright lights of elite arenas, volleyball in the UK is serving itself up to be a real hit.
Tomorrow is the South Coast Darts Showdown at the Bournemouth International Centre. Headlining the fantastic night of darting entertainment is the teenage sensation England's Luke Littler, appearing for the first time in Bournemouth. 3 of the top darts stars today, Dave Chisnall, Rob Cross and Stephen Bunting, are all also a part of the impressive lineup. On a trip to Albania with her travel journalism class, let's see what they got up to in the beautiful city of Tirana.
Travel journalism students traveled to the capital of Albania, Tirana, to discover its hidden beauties. On our first day, we explored the full city centre with a free walking tour to uncover the culture of Tirana and immerse into the history, population and religion, told by a local tour guide. The Pyramid of Tirana was the main attraction to us. We climbed 877 steps in total to see the mind-blowing views of the whole city of Tirana. The beautiful sunset made the whole experience of the pyramid worth every step. The Skanderbeg Square was in the center of Tirana, dedicated to a famous Albanian warrior king, Skanderbeg. While we were there, they held a beer festival in the center of the square, along with bars and clubs that Tirana has to offer as part of their very exciting nightlife. Gamti Mountain is located at the northeast of Tirana. We hiked approximately 2 hours to reach the summit of Mount Gamti and take in the picturesque view after the dangerous climb to the top. Even some of us got into the freezing water of Lake Vovila. The other Mount Daiti is a national park where they have the longest cable car in Albania, which takes 15 minutes to travel to the top of the national park, where you can find mini golf, animals and enjoy the hike across the mountain. And as they say in Albania, Faleminderit. Solent Sports News.
2 of the world's best coaches will go head-to-head tomorrow evening at Wembley Stadium. Serena Wiegmann's Lionesses and Emma Hayes' USA will face off against each other for the first time since October 2022. England won the last fixture 2-1. However, USA claimed themselves a gold medal at the Olympics in the summer and are now unbeaten in 19 friendlies. Chance Cromwick has a package on the public's perception of cheerleading, as well as diving into the physicality of the sport.
Cheerleading is a growing sport in the United Kingdom, with over 90,000 athletes across the country. Although stereotypically known for pom-poms, many don't know the physicality involved in the sport. According to sport injury studies, cheerleading is one of the most dangerous sports for female athletes. Cheerleaders are at a higher risk than most sports for sustaining concussions and head injuries due to the sport's height, inversion and physical contact. We spoke to members of the public to get their thoughts on the sport of cheerleading.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear cheerleading?
Always makes me think of America, big like NFL games and yeah, that sort of thing. Hundreds of thousands of people in a stadium at half-time watching girls cheerleading.
I mean, general sport, dancing, supporting the team, being loud and keeping the motivation going within the sports team that they're supporting.
It's quite a hard sport. It's got to be pretty athletic. American football, supporting a team.
Pom-poms.
Entertainment. It's entertaining for people. It's fun. It's energetic. They keep fit, don't they? So, yeah.
I guess it's very acrobatic. It's interesting to watch, I suppose.
Sorry, about what? About cheerleading.
Cheerleading?
Yeah. What is that?
The Beijing Big Air World Cup starts this weekend with the Big Air freestyle snowboard and free ski competitions. Team GB has 6 representatives and Mia Brooks will start as Britain's favourite in her second Big Air World Cup. Now that is all from us. I'm Rochelle Barham and these have been your Solent Sports News headlines.